Can you hear the music?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah, you can. Not a lot of people can hear it. I just name. Right here. Right here. Right there. See that?
Nice.
Yeah. All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick, and shout out to Senjin Boychuk for that incredible outro music. Man, he was way back on episode 14. He made that for us. That was huge, and find him everywhere you want to on the socials. I guess he's everywhere. He's just like shredding guitar, man. He just started his own little thing, and he's I can't remember what he does. I think he's like an electrician or something like that, but it's only to pay for his music. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And hey, shout out to him. And then on this week's episode, man, I'm pretty pumped. I've been trying to get this guy on for a while, and not as long as some, but like trying to get him on for a while, and his videos are just awesome. I love it. Philly P, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, dude. How you been? You been busy? Like harvest is over? Like what's going on?
Harvest is over, so we've just finished up like cleaning up all the fields that we're in. Yeah. So if for anybody at home, I grow almonds. That's kind of like, what I do. But just finished cleaning up all the fields, smoothing them out, and now we're back basically in the shop doing a bunch of maintenance and oil changes and just working on harvest equipment now.
Spending time with the wife and the family and whatnot. You had to work really hard all summer and into the harvest. So that's that. I'm up in northern Alberta working right now, but like I've spent time in Saskatchewan. I don't even know where Saskatchewan is or Alberta and all that, but basically farmland. We're in Canada. We're in northern Canada, and we just went through harvest too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you guys have up there in like a lot of like hay and wheat and stuff, or
wheat, canola, barley, corn? Yeah, like lots of that stuff, and honestly, I'm not a farmer. I'm probably gonna butcher that. So like they're probably gonna come for me at some point. They're gonna be like, "Hey, man, this is just a fraction of what we do, right?" So, yeah, I know there's a lot of hay up there too, right? They got those little short, tiny bales of hay, and then they got the much bigger bales of hay. But
yeah,
I don't know. I see them all, so like it's pretty cool. What I've come to learn from being on the internet and from being in certain spaces, proximity doesn't equal knowledge, right? So just because I see farmers everywhere and I'm around it doesn't mean I know anything about it. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, man.
That's a good point.
Man, I'm recording this episode from the back seat of a Toyota Tundra.
Oh, nice. I heard those are kind of roomy in the back.
Man, they are. Like,
yeah.
I could do some shit back here for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, tons of room for activities. I'm in camp right now in Fort McMurray, and the Wi-Fi on the last couple episodes I did was a little spotty, right?
Okay.
And my audio was pretty shit. So I'm like, you know what? I've noticed when I'm live streaming, I come outside and it's all good. It's great. So I come outside into the truck. I got the ring light plugged in here in the truck. There's people all around me sitting in their trucks too. They're probably like, what the hell is this guy doing? But hey, whatever. And and the megabytes, the speed download, everything is just so much better out here, and I think this might be my new recording studio when I'm in camp.
Yeah, dude, I hear you great. You should get Starlink though. Have you heard about that?
Of course. I want to. It's $120 a month, I think, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't have it, but I know it's a little more pricey, but you can basically take it like up in the mountains with you and pretty much get Wi-Fi anywhere. So
for everyone. I heard the Starlink phone is coming out soon, and that's what I want. I've never had anything other than Apple, right? So like I started off with the very first iPhone, and then right now I'm on like the 15 or whatever it is, and Yeah, man. I'd switch to the Starlink phone for sure if it had, Starlink capabilities, like where you get unlimited Wi-Fi and stuff like that everywhere you go. I'd do
Yeah,
that. Hell yeah.
that would that would be gangster
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
for sure.
So, what are you up to tonight, man? Like, what's going on in the house? You got stuff going on. You're just getting off work. It's what, 6 o'clock there, 7 o'clock there.
Yeah, it's
What
almost 7. Are you talking about like my day to day kind of thing?
well, right now, day to day doesn't matter. I mean, it's it's
Yeah,
it's almost 7 there. Like, what, you're in what, Northern California?
yeah, Northern California.
NorCal.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm normally right now I'm at the gym actually. But today's kind of like my rest day. My body feels like I just got ran over by a truck, so taking a little bit of rest day. And then going out to ice cream with my lady tonight. So,
Ooh,
you know.
nice. You're gonna get the ice cream, and then you're gonna get the ice cream. Like you're going for a snack, but it's only a partial snack.
I love just some good ice cream. There's actually a great spot, local spot,
Yeah,
and they make all their own homemade ice cream and whatnot, and it's one of our favorites. So
nice.
looking
I just
forward
had
to
a
that
fun.
for sure.
It's steak night in camp tonight. So every Wednesday is steak night. They cook you up steaks. You can have as many steaks as you want,
Oh
right?
wow,
Buddy had 7 steaks on his plate, and like,
that'll do
yeah,
something to you later if you know what I mean.
oh, for sure, man. And like,
Yeah,
I had like one, like, I guess I had two smaller ones.
sure.
So like, I accidentally grabbed the well done one, and I was like, oh, I touched it, so I gotta take it. So I'm like, oh, whatever. I just smothered it in like HP sauce. So
HP sauce,
HP sauce. You guys don't have HP? It's the brown sauce.
like A1 sauce.
It kind of, yeah. I guess it would be like A1. Yeah.
Okay, and I haven't heard of HP.
You guys don't have HP sauce?
I don't. I don't. Maybe I'm just dumb, but I've never heard of that.
I don't talk politics, but it's because you're in a Democratic state, my man.
Dude,
Like
I know.
you,
Did you see how red it was though this election?
I didn't. I'm Canadian, man. I watched a little bit, but like I yeah. You know what? Fuck it. You know what? A little bit.
Yeah,
You got me a little bit. So uh, the Democrats were at war with the working class, is what it was,
yeah.
right? It went to
Basically,
war. It's what's happening up here in Canada right now. The Liberal government it has gone to war for 9 years against the working class. We're
wow.
suffering, and we're about
Wait,
to
so
see
can you explain like what the government is like in Canada? Because like some of us don't really understand like
Joe
the
Biden on
difference.
steroids.
Okay,
Yeah, except for
that's
our
awful.
government's much younger, but like very woke, very loves to spend money. Just
Really?
spend. You know what? I'm trying to avoid politics. You know what? I'm voting one more time, right? I'm only gonna vote one more time, and that's to get rid of our current government. And then once that this current government's gone, I'll probably never vote again because they're all the devil, right? Like, left wing, right wing, two wings of the same bird, right? So, our government is very incompetent. They couldn't run a coffee stand, let alone a country.
Oh
So yeah,
wow.
oh dude, it's brutal. We're in so much debt, inflation. I don't know, man. It's
It sounds
crazy.
like the way we're going right now, as
So
far as
gasoline,
before Trump.
gasoline in Canada, right? We pay the equivalent of what, $8 a gallon is what you guys would pay if you guys were paying what we paid. It'd be $8 a gallon.
No joke.
Yeah, it's
That's
it's
insane.
crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I will say for anyone that's listening, so Pierre Poilievre, who's the opposition government, right? He's conservative, and he's running against the liberal government in the next election. Um, so Pierre has done a really good job at pinning all of Canada's problems on Trudeau, and they're not all Trudeau's fault, but like a lot of them are. Trudeau has fucked a lot of shit up, right? But not as much as Pierre is making it out to be, but he's done a really good job because it's out of anger, right? The people are angry, right? So, you know, Yeah, he's done a really good
Yeah,
job of being like, hey, this is his fault. This is his fault. And we are paying like 52% tax. So I mean, maybe it is a little bit, but
that's
yeah.
ridiculous. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Smaller
Yeah.
the government, the better. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And man, what did Trump say? He was gonna probably like there's like 50,000 government officials that are gonna be gone.
Dude,
Right?
he's like,
That's
he's
wow.
he's. I mean, he learned a lot. It sounds like from his first run at it, basically with
Yep.
his whole mess up with who he's like brought into his cabinet and stuff, and
Well,
now all the
yeah.
news is basically just like him just pulling out all these freaking like Republican superstars, and I'm just, a lot of people are liking it, a lot of Democrats hate it.
Of course
It's
they hate
interesting.
it. Of course they do. So I saw Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are going to be in charge of government overreach or some shit like that. Which,
Yep.
okay. Vivek Ramaswamy, if I was American, by the way, like that would have been my horse, right? Vivek Ramaswamy was running for the Republican nominee, and like I'm telling you, I don't pay attention to politics. I lied, but like I don't like it. So Vivek Ramaswamy was running for the nominee, and he's basically, I think he's 39 years old, so he's a much younger Trump, right? Like
Right.
he's like last time around, Trump wanted to drain the swamp and he failed. But what he did do was he exposed where the drain plug is.
That's a good point. I like
That's
that.
as far as he could get, was expose the drain plug. And Vivek Ramaswamy said, I'm going to take what he did and I'm going to run with it. He's like, you
Hmm.
guys are not, you'll never see what I'm about to do again. And obviously, he didn't get to be the nominee and he didn't win. Trump did. But Trump appointed him a special advisor, right, for a reason. Vivek Ramaswamy's got a very bright political future in the U.S., right, and I think he's going to do some damage here with his role. So he's very ambitious. I think his parents are of East Indian descent, so like first visible minority that would, I guess Barack Obama would have been,
Yeah, you got Obama and Kamala.
like
She was a single minority
yeah,
combined. She was the ultimate like minority. You
yeah, man.
know.
So fuck politics. We're done with the politics shit.
Yeah, you're good.
We're done with the politics. I fucking hate politics, man. My whole social media, I just avoid it like the plague, right? Like
That's
I
fair.
tried to joke about politics one time on Instagram and I bled followers for a week.
Really?
Yeah, man. I can't talk politics on the socials.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's surprising for like your social, because it's a very much a blue collar crowd.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are outside of the blue collar crowd too, right? Because they're blue collar curious, or
Okay.
they're definitely looking to get into it, right? So like
Yeah.
I notice I'm from back east, right? And there, when I'm out there, a lot of people are like, oil and gas, you guys are a bunch of druggies and cheaters and all this shit. And it's like, bro, like, is that all you know about oil and gas? And you're killing the planet. Is that all you know about oil and gas? Like, if that's all you have to contribute to this conversation, it's not going to end well for you, right?
Yeah.
And so we dive into it, and they usually don't like where it goes. Alberta, makes the oil and gas. Alberta, Saskatchewan, parts of BC make the oil and gas, and they get all that oil and gas revenue, right? But the way
Yeah.
Canada is, we have to share that oil and gas revenue between the have-not provinces, which are like the provinces without money, right? And so Alberta doesn't get to keep any of the money it makes, right? A lot of it goes to like Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec. Ontario and Quebec get the lion's share. Quebec coming in at $21 billion a year they get, because on paper they are a have-not province. But under the table, they get a lot of money from their energy, their electricity side industry. They sell a lot of it. They're probably one of the richest provinces, and the government sort of caters to, every government does. Every government Canada has caters to Quebec,
Okay.
right? And they've tried to separate before, right? So like, they're, and it's our French, it's not even our official French speaking province. That'd be like New Brunswick, but they're a French province, I guess. And so like, they tried to separate, and when they had held the referendum and it didn't go in their favor, there was backlash there, and governments all, hey, we gotta like appeal to Quebecers. We gotta like, and the Quebec government that they have is called the Bloc de Québécois, and they run based off of separating. They want to separate from Canada, right? Then they run off it all the time. They're very popular. Why they have a federal party is beyond me, because like the federal party takes care of the whole country, where the Bloc is just like, we're gonna separate, right? And yeah, man, Canada is a very, very fractured country. Actually, if you look at it, Newfoundland doesn't want to be here. They never wanted to sign. Quebec and Newfoundland are always beefing over who owns Labrador. Quebec doesn't want to be here. New Brunswick doesn't want to be here. Alberta doesn't want to be here. And Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and northern BC will follow whatever Alberta does. So, like, the Canada doesn't want to be Canada, right?
Yeah, it sounds like a little bit of a mess. Definitely.
Yeah, and where I am and where I live, we're known as Texas North, right? We're like, yeehaw cowboy, let's drill baby drill, right? So yeah.
Okay. So you guys have your own like side of like Western like cowboy style of Canada.
That's basically where I live. Okay. That's where I live.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, man. It's very redneck. Yeah, nice. Very red. It's fun. It's funny to watch. It's funny to be a part of, right?
I bet.
Yeah. So fuck the politics stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll have politic conversation all night as long as it doesn't get like divisive, right? I don't like that shit. But so you're an almond farmer.
That's right.
Right? You blow squirrels the fuck out of the ground, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Dude, the very first video I saw of yours was that one where you could actually see the squirrel like flying. And I can't, someone sent it to me. And when I watched that, I'm like, oh my God, I watched it probably 20 times. I was like, man, that is awesome. And I'm like, follow, right? And then I watched you go from like, I think you had 50 or 60,000 followers at that time.
I don't even, when I posted that video, I was like maybe 10 to 20K.
Wow.
I think. Wow. Yeah. Like how you want me to just start from the beginning of like
start from the beginning?
I guess we can go way back to like 2020. This is pre-COVID, actually, like maybe 2019, 18. Basically, I'm hanging out with my buddy, and ever since I've been little, me and my buddy, he's my next door neighbor. His name was Tyler. Basically, we would always like come up with contraptions or watch YouTube videos on how to make like potato cannons or like blow darts out of PVC pipe and stuff. And like pretty much that just was our whole childhood, was like inflicting pain through like mechanisms that we've designed and stuff. Normally he took most of the pain, but basically that got us up until pretty much my first year of college. I was over at his house. He moved away a little bit, kind of to a private lake community. And basically we had potato cannons at that time, and his family had a lemon tree. So we started loading up the potato can with lemons and just launching them straight into the lake in this like HOA private community. And basically like this was like right when TikTok was starting out, because that's kind of where I got my start, was on TikTok. Basically I was like, why don't you take a video of this? I'm gonna say some funny stuff and launch this thing in the lake. And so he did, took a video, posted it that night, and then basically that first video got over like 500,000 views on TikTok. And like from there just started progressing into like how to make a potato cannon. And then we brought the Rodinator, which was, it's blowing up squirrels and stuff. So that progressed for a couple of years on TikTok. So that's where my larger following is on TikTok. And then this year, what's that?
How many followers you got on TikTok?
That's like 217K.
Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I got 70. I'm almost at 78K over there.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. I feel like TikTok's a lot different.
I'm not blowing squirrels up though. So.
Yeah, dude. I get my content taken down on TikTok very often.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
They're so sensitive over there. But so basically TikTok was where I really started off. And then up until like, I guess this year was when I really started like expanding to other platforms. Um, and I've always had Instagram, but I never posted my videos on it. So then basically August of this year, I started posting my actual like TikToks or reels and stuff. And I started actually editing them on Instagram, which helped a lot. I think that actually boosted my views more for some reason. And then through that, I was at like 10K. And then I posted that one video where you can see the squirrel getting blown out of the hole. And yeah, and I just hit 100K today on Instagram.
Congratulations, man. That's
Yeah,
huge.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
You know,
So,
you have a bigger following on TikTok, but I don't know if you've heard this or not, but Instagram is harder and whatnot. And it's like, apparently, I think it's something like your following on Instagram is like having double that anywhere else, right? So like your following on Instagram means way more than your following anywhere else. Not saying
mhm,
the people aren't, it's the number, right? Just because of
right.
what Instagram means and what it takes to grow on that app, because it is harder to grow on Instagram than it is on TikTok, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe not for you, but like, like it took me a while to get to 10K on Instagram, and then I'm just I don't even care about the numbers behind my name. I'm like, I'm having fun. I throw the
Yeah.
video out. If it does good, it does good. Great. If it doesn't, I don't care. I move on to the next one, right? And some when I look at the number and it's like, fuck yeah, that one popped right off. That's good. So and Instagram sometimes takes weeks or months to pop off. Like I got a
Yeah.
video right now from like last year. I'm gaining followers off of it. And I go back and I look, I'm like, shit, that was only at like 1 million before. Now it's at 8, right?
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah, and I can usually tell because when people are sharing your stories, where they're sharing your videos to their stories,
Yeah.
like that video is from last year, and like I've been tagged 15 times today. It's like what, and everyone is like that one. It's like, oh, okay. So then
Yeah.
I go look back at that video, and like the last time I looked, the numbers are higher. I'm like, okay, all right. So
Hmm.
that's where that one's at, right? And yeah, man, yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
dude, I
lot of fun.
definitely,
I enjoy it.
it is. I feel like Instagram too, like the followers I get from Instagram are actual like fans of me and my content much more than TikTok, where it's just like I don't feel like it's as personable, where like I don't have a connection with them as much.
Yeah.
But like I have like a consistent like group of guys on Instagram that, always are looking forward to my videos and stuff. And it keeps me like encouraged to make stuff for them. And like, I
Yeah.
feel like it's much different and more rewarding a little bit on Instagram. I don't
Yeah.
know if you feel that way, but
So this past summer, I actually took a step back from like TikTok and I played a little bit more on Instagram, right? And I'm like, all right, let's play with this, right? And I never created any videos on Instagram because the editing features are a lot more complex than TikTok. TikTok's
yeah,
very simple, right?
yeah,
But a couple weeks ago, I was like, fuck it. I was at work and I had some time and I went and I played around with the editing tools on Instagram. And like, once you get a hang of them, they're a lot of fun,
oh yeah, dude.
right? It's harder to sync up like words with Instagram though when you're trying to like lip sync. Like I find it more difficult than TikTok.
Lip sync, like you have like words over your video type of thing.
Where
Oh,
like you're trying to where you use a sound and you're trying to match your lips to that sound. Where
oh,
yeah, well, I do a lot of those videos, right? And I find it a lot harder to match that sound to what I'm trying to do on Instagram. But like I said though, a little bit more playing around, and I'll probably figure it out. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's when I really saw a big change in my following was editing on Instagram. I don't know if it's the algorithm or whatever, if it can like sense that I've already like pre-made the video on another like app or something, but I feel like that was really helpful for me. So maybe that'll help you if you keep doing that.
yeah, I'll try that. I'm always down to try stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know though. Like, I we're creatures of habit, right? And I mean, you gotta like in order to obtain things you've never had, you must be willing to do things you've never done. So like, I I'll probably try something out like that. You know, I just been doing it. I've been creating content for 4 years now, right? And I've been doing it the same way or a certain way, and it works for me, right? So, if it works, maybe this new way works a little better or differently. It doesn't hurt to try it. So
Yeah, I mean, if you don't stray away from what works for you, you know.
yeah,
If it's working,
yeah,
it's working.
yeah, man. And I was gonna ask, how did you like? Did you inherit this almond farm, or like was it? Did you buy it, or what? Like, how did
Oh,
you
I
come to work
got
on?
so this is not I'm not taking any ownership of any of the ranch. This is strictly my grandpa's.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so I just work out there first of all. So I'm very very lucky to be able to actually be able to work out there for my grandpa, and then my dad is also who I work under as well.
Wow.
So I
I thought
started
you
out
were.
there.
I thought that was all you.
No, not at all. I could never take
What?
credit for all that. That is not me. But no, I started out there probably late high school. Just odds and ends, splitting wood. We got trees, so obviously you're gonna have firewood. But so started splitting wood, and then just slowly progressed into operating equipment, and then just basically more responsibility as I spent more time working out there on the ranch, basically.
How old are
So
you?
I'm 25.
Oh shit, man! I thought you were a little older than that. Good for you.
No, I'm
No, man.
25. I just graduated college like 2 years ago. I think it was
Oh
about two
shit.
years ago. Yeah, I went to a
What'd you take?
local. What's up?
What'd you take?
I went basically got agriculture business as my degree.
Okay.
So it kind of fits,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I went to a community college to start for 2 years because they had like a good program going, and then transferred over to university and finished up there. Um, So, and honestly,
Good.
I didn't know actually during that time if I was really wanting to do ag or not. Like I was still very on the edge, not knowing what to really do. But it turned out it worked out, and all this social media stuff kind of came out of it as well. So I'm not
Hell yeah.
complaining about that.
Hell yeah, man! I love that. What did your grandpa and your dad think about the whole Roadinator thing? Like what do they think of it?
Um, well, honestly, they really like it. They love watching the videos for sure.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think your grandpa like a kick out of
at
that.
first they kind of thought it was just this kind of like funny like little thing that I made a video and all people watched it and type of thing, and then they started following me, and I think they started seeing the amount of like views and the amount of people like that are watching me blow up squirrels in
Yeah.
like in their orchard, or working in the shop or around the shop. And then I think they started to realize like it's more than just some funny little videos. So they definitely support it, and it's fun to be able to do that.
Did you make the Roadinator yourself, or is that a company like has that? Because like you said, there's a giveaway for one coming up, right?
Yeah.
Or
So
did
I
you
didn't.
do the giveaway?
So like I think the original Rotinator came out maybe in the early 2000s.
Okay.
Could have. Don't quote me on that. I may be really wrong on that, but basically it was like a farm show like product. Basically, like you go to the World Ag Expo or whatever, and the guy had the Rotinator with the video showing him blowing up gopher holes and squirrel holes in the background type of thing. And at the time it was a super large, like long, and it was like the first Rotinator I used in my videos. And basically they got bought out by a company called Varmint Getter.
Varmint
um,
gets it. Yeah.
yeah, so Varmint Getter, they're loaded, I think they're in Idaho. And basically they like redesigned it a little bit to be a little more safe, because the old one had like the ignition attached to the actual like gas stick, and then the new one has like a corded extended igniter. Um, so basically, Varmint Getter acquired Rotinator, and like they make the product, and I just use it on my ranch. I don't own anything of it. Yeah.
I love watching that, man. I remember, like I said, when I first saw that first video, when I watched that and the squirrels just went and like landed on the ground, I'm like, no way! Like PETA's losing their shit over this, right? Like, like you probably have like, man, the vegan teacher or whatever the hell her name was on TikTok, man. She must
Yeah,
fucking hate you, right?
dude. I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
man. Yeah,
I
man.
haven't heard anything from her, but
Oh
no, I hope.
man.
Yeah.
How about PETA? Have you heard anything from them?
No, nothing. They have had I've looked into it just to make sure like I know the legal side of it all, just because I am posting it. They have had a few like legal cases, I think, about like a park district, like a community park district using the Rodinator to get rid of gophers and stuff. And I don't think they actually ended up winning the case or anything,
Yeah.
because despite what people think, it is actually pretty humane in how it takes care of animals. It's very quick and effective.
Well, you're pumping the
I
gas down there, right?
Yeah, it's just propane and oxygen.
You're
And
probably
you know what?
they probably don't feel a thing. They're probably either high or passed out by the time that explosion comes.
Right. Most likely they're asleep just because of the lack of, the propane in their system. And like, I can go into specifics on how it all works as far as
Fuck,
what
if you
goes
want,
on.
man, knock her out. Let
Like, I
knock
don't
her
know
out.
this for sure, but when like you inhale that much gas as a
Yeah.
small animal and you have a large fireball coming at you, most likely
Yeah.
it's going to go take care of business everywhere else too. So, yeah.
I love that you're like, boom, squirrels are asleep, right? We're about to put some squirrels to sleep here, and like
Yeah.
I love that, man. And like I knew from that first video, I'm like, I have to have this guy on my podcast, right? Like I have to. And then I started watching your other videos. I hit the follow button, watched all the other videos, and I'm like, yeah, no, like this guy is like, it's funny, it's blue collar as shit. And what better person to have on my podcast than that, right? Like that's like, oh fuck, man, like that's incredible. Like I
Yeah.
love what you do. So
Well, I appreciate it. It's definitely not at all what I thought I'd be doing, I guess, being 25 now, and like, like I'm going to like the gym or like to a store and people are like, "Hey, you're the guy that blows up squirrels." And I'm like, "Yep, that's from me."
that's me, man. That's me.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. No, that's fucking incredible, man. Being an American, do you make money off your content?
I do. TikTok is where I make money as like for
Yeah.
per view basically. And it's okay. It's not like amazing. I'm not like gonna be a full time influencer. I'm still gonna work on I joke with my dad and my grandpa because they're worried about me leaving because I'm making all the money off social media, and I'm like, I made social media because I'm working on your ranch. Like
Yep.
I can't leave if I
Yep.
want to keep
That's
making my
exactly what it is
videos.
for me. That's what it is for me, man. I made social media and it took off for me because I work in the field. I work in the oil and gas industry and I make videos on site. Like there I backed myself into this corner. I can't leave. No matter how much it takes off for me, no matter what happens, I have to be here now, right? And I just got a new job, for the job that I started, when I first started doing TikToks and making the videos and stuff like that. That job was stressing me out. I was there for 7 years. I probably stayed 4 years too long. And, I was afraid to leave because my content did so well there. I attributed or made the connection in my brain that my content was because of where I was working. Right. And that really did some shit, man. I ended up working, 6 weeks at a time straight before going home for a week. Ended up doing some like, I was on call 24/7. I was either working 4 hours or 40. And it was like, it was good. It was good when I needed a job 7 years ago. It was there for me and it fit my lifestyle. But as we've progressed, especially with the social media thing, like where I want to take it and where I want to go with it, especially the podcast, it no longer fit my lifestyle. It was more of a hindrance. It was in the way of my content. And so the last little bit, I was looking for a way out, and I found it, right? Now I'm on a set schedule. I'm home every 20 days. I go home for 10. They fly me back and forth, and I'm not working on call anymore. So I work a 12-hour day. I can be like, hey, want to do a podcast tonight at 8 o'clock? And I know I'm going to be there at 8 o'clock, right? And whereas before it's like, hey, want to do a podcast today? And then or at like 7 o'clock, it's like, hey, we got to reschedule. And that happened a lot.
Yeah, how recent was that change? Was that pretty recent?
Yeah, I've been here about a month now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been here about a month now. I went home once already, and oh geez, I guess tomorrow is day 8 out of 21 that this hitch is going to end up being. So day 8 of 21, they just fly by. They just fly by now, right? It's just like, man, like I'm not going to be here 6 weeks. I'm only here for 20 days, 21 days. Like, okay, cool. And they just go, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so were they both in the oil field, both those
Yeah.
jobs? Okay.
Oh, two very different sides of the oil field, though. I have this conversation a lot, and today was the last time I had it. Whereas, like, I was in Fox Creek, Alberta. Love that place. A lot of people have a lot to say about Fox Creek. It's in a very different side of the oil patch, right? It's on call. It's all service work, or you're working on a rig, and it's feast or famine all the time, right? Whereas I'm now in Fort McMurray, and Fort McMurray is like it's all mining, it's all mine work, and they're extracting all the tar sands, and so here it's like very by the book, very like follow the rules, very safety orientated, and a lot of people they come here to retire. This is where a lot of old boys come and they're put out to pasture, right? They're like, hey, you know what, like the mining side of things is guaranteed work. It's going for decades to come still, right? Like no matter what the price of oil's doing, the mines they're still popping off, right?
Sure.
So, and it's a lot more laid back. A lot more laid back, right? So it's two different sides of the oil field, like cowboy versus like, hey, follow the rules or you're gone, right? So,
Okay.
and I talked to an old boy the other day about it, and he's like, I've been up here 25 years. He's like, I get to retire in 2 more. He's like, did I like following the rules for 20 some odd years? Nah. He's like, it's annoying as fuck, but it fed my family and the money was guaranteed. So, like it was, so, and that's why I'm here. I'm here for a better lifestyle, right, than what I was doing. And now that the longest I spent in was 6 months at a time. And that right there that was killer on my relationship with my wife. You know what I mean? Like, we're still together, but like, how, I don't know, right? Like how she managed to survive that with me is beyond me. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, I definitely would not want to be away from family or friends for that long. That's a long time.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And in fact, that's the hardest part about working in the oil field. Everyone thinks it's this kind of toughness. It's all up here.
Okay.
Right. It's all mental toughness. They pay you for the like lifestyle that you're that you're ingrained yourself into. That Ben Allen Curry has a song called Oilfield Money, and he was on the podcast, and one of his lines of his song was, I don't make a good life, I just make a good living. Right. And that hits hard, right? Because like you're making that money, and yeah, you have a truck and you got all this other stuff. You're going on the vacation when you can, but like, you're gone for weeks or months at a time, right? And you're watching your kids grow up through a phone screen. You're celebrating anniversaries or happy anniversary. I have to, what day is it here? Holy shit. My anniversary is in 4 days. So like, it's like, yeah. You're celebrating anniversaries over the phone. You're celebrating birthdays over the phone. You're missing everything, right? Bubba Reeves has a song right now, and he's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice my life to give my kids everything, and I'm going to miss it all. Right. And that's oil field life, man, and it is what it is. You got to make that money. A lot of us don't have much going on in the town we're from, right? A lot of people are from the east coast of Canada. There's not a lot of work out there, so they fly out here, right? And they have a good life.
Is it worth it, you think? Like,
I think so. I think so. It is what you make of it, right? Like anything else. Maybe it was all like what I made it just sound like was bad. I don't know. I'm not trying to, but like, you learn a lot about yourself, right? You learn, what you're willing to do and what you're willing not to do for money.
yeah.
It really pushes you to your boundaries mentally, sometimes physically. sometimes it gets you down mentally, sometimes it gets you down physically, and then there are days where it gets you down both at once, right? And you gotta like figure out a way how to just keep on trucking through that. And mental health is a very huge thing in the industry, right? It's becoming a lot bigger than what it was, right? And we're all like talking to each other more about it. So which is good, right? The podcast is very mental health and blue collar, meet each other. So like it's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's real. I mean, I've definitely had depression before. I think I did. Definitely went through like a breakup that really messed me up, and coming out of that, you definitely learn a lot when you're in the darkest part of it. Coming out and looking back, I think you see the most knowledge like afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And that's definitely what got me the most. But I don't know. I put a lot of my trust in Jesus. I'm a strong believer in Jesus and in Christ, and that's where I think I've found the most security, at least for myself, in that
Whatever
type of.
whatever helps, man.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do to like, whatever you got to do to help you get your ass out of bed in the morning. Like whatever helps those feet slide over, hit the ground, and you continue on with your day. It doesn't matter. A lot of people, oh, I don't believe in Jesus or I don't believe in that, and like, who cares? Who cares what another person needs to get through it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all on this. We're all in this ride together, right? So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like learning about different people and stuff on the podcast, and I get all kinds of people on, and it's why I do it, man, because I like to network. Networking take me back to high school, take me back to middle school. I was always networking with, I wasn't a jock, I wasn't a goth, I wasn't a nerd, I wasn't whatever. I was ingrained in every circle, right? And I networked. I made friends in every circle, and it was like, hey, man, like, all right, well, you're gonna teach me this, or I'm gonna teach you this, and we're gonna have fun, and then I would integrate the two or the three, people from everyone. I'm like, hey man, let's get together and go do this, right? And then, it's helped at work a lot, right? It, uh, my whole new job here, I networked, and a guy that follows me on TikTok that I follow, and he's got a following and whatnot. He owns this company, and he's like, hey man, I know you can do this work. You've done it. It's very similar to the work that you were doing for 7 years. He's like, you have a whole ass fucking TikTok and Instagram social media platform showing that you can do this work. It's become like a resume, right? And it's like, hey, come work for me, and this is what I can offer you. And it was like what he offered was too good to pass up. So here I am.
That's all. I mean, have you gotten any other like offers and stuff from social media besides that?
Oh well, yeah. Like so. What kind of offers are we talking about here? Because I've been offered a lot of things from a lot of gay people. There's a guy. There's a guy
deal.
money to make content for his personal collection, and oh, hey man, hey, you know what, dude? It was a lot of money. It was a lot of
Really?
money.
How much? How much you talking?
$1,400.
Wow.
Yeah.
Insane. Okay, well, besides that stuff, like, what about like brand deals or like any other like job offers you've gotten or anything like that?
I've gotten a few job offers off it, but nothing that would make me make that jump and quit, right?
Yeah.
But also, can you hear the beeping?
No.
Okay, good. Dirty hands, clean money. Use code Frost10. I know you're part of it now.
Yeah.
When our boy Tron was like, hey, who should be part of this group? Like, that who do you guys see around on the internet? I was like, fucking Philly P, get this guy in here right now.
I appreciate. Thank you for that, by the way. I haven't really.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
I appreciate that.
Hell yeah. I get lots of hats and shirts for free and stuff like that. Heat Waves, my sunglasses, they're a sponsor.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, man. There's a few things there. I hope I'm not missing anything, but which would perfect segue though, because like, do you know what viscosity is?
Viscosity?
Yeah, do you know what viscosity is?
As far as like as of a liquid, or are you talking about like a brand?
No, the liquid.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's viscosity in your own words? Like, how would you describe viscosity? How would you define it?
Uh, I would say you can compare it probably to like hot syrup to like honey to
Okay.
like being the viscosity of hot syrup's very thin, but honey is very thick, and you're probably going to be using that in terms of oil. So if you're talking about
Kinda,
oil,
yes. So the podcast is sponsored by the Mudman,
okay,
and the Mudman deals in viscosity, the resistance to the fluid going downhole, right? And if it's too viscous, he's got to make it less viscous. If it's not viscous enough, he's got to make it more viscous, right? And the Mudman deals in the thickness of your load, right? So how thick is your load? Like it's pretty thick. I think you're a young man and I'm a young man, and shit happens, right? uh, um, so the Mudman deals in all that, for all your drilling fluid and laboratory testing equipment needs. Check out the Mudman at www.mudmanmarket.com. And I always fuck up that website, I think, but I hope I got it right this time. The Mudman, he helped me fix my audio issues I was having. He got me a headset and a mic, and
oh nice,
then way back in like episode 15 or whatever it was, and then he recently, this past summer, he's like, how else can we kick this podcast up a notch? And I don't need the mic and the headset all the time now because he bought me a MacBook Pro. We're recording
oh, wow.
on a MacBook Pro, and I still say it's brand new. But yeah, man, he bought me this MacBook Pro, and this is what I record on now, and I can edit a lot better and a lot easier. And yeah, man,
So it's like
fun,
basically
man.
your podcast sponsor.
Yeah, I got a couple now.
Nice.
The Mudman's the original, the OG one, and another one I guess would be so when you're working, you wear steel toe boots,
Yes, sir.
gloves, glasses, all that stuff, and you know how expensive that can get, right?
Oh yeah, they're not cheap.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, so the podcast is sponsored by Brasco Safety, right? And Brasco Safety deals in PPE, right? And so I was thinking like, man, how can I give back to my community, my blue collar brothers and sisters, right? And what better way than to team up with a workplace PPE supplier, right? And it's and whatnot, and so they deal in boots, glasses, coveralls, hard hats, gloves, all that stuff. And if you use code Frost10 when you go to brascosafety.com, right, you save 10% on your PPE, right? Which is crazy, which is amazing. And they're based out of Alberta here, but they ship all, like, I think their distributors are in the US, so they ship like all over the US and Canada.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Man, and that's where this has been a lot of fun, right? Like being able to do all this and then partner up with other people that also want to make a difference, right? And
Absolutely.
yeah, man, I think it's been a lot of fun. Like I keep saying but like there's a lot of onboarding paperwork going on with it, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We're also sponsored by BetterHelp unofficially right now, which is pretty cool. The whole blue collar mental health thing, right?
Yeah,
Stop. The whole blue collar mental health thing. Uh, yeah, the whole blue collar mental health thing. Sorry, my phone rang.
very
The
good.
whole blue collar mental health thing. You know, we we can give back that way too. BetterHelp, get yourself 10% off when you need some therapy, right? So yeah, man.
Sure.
Um, yeah.
Wait, so how did you get started in the oil field? I don't know if I've ever like heard that.
Yeah, so I'm originally from back out in Ontario, which is, we call it the Middle East, but like it's just Middle East Canada. So I was out there, and we moved out west, like way back in 2008. And I didn't want to move out west just to make shitty money, right? But I ended up making shitty money. I was working at Leon's Furniture in the warehouse, making $13 an hour, thinking, man, I didn't move across the country for this, right? And so I ended up working with a guy who just got laid off from the rigs, And he was telling me about the money he made and how great it was and how this sucks. And I got to talking to him like, well, what do I need to get started in the oil patch? You know, and he's telling me all the tickets I needed and whatnot, how I go about getting that stuff. And so I started working towards getting those tickets. I saved up and I went and bought my own tickets and like my H2S and my first aid and stuff like that. And then I started looking for work. And my wife didn't think that it was that serious. She didn't think I'd actually find something. So she's like, yeah, knock yourself out. Right. And then so when I started applying, I applied for one job. And within 2 hours, maybe, they called me back. They're like, when can you start? Let's go. Right. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. So I told her about it. And yeah, so I went out to Grand Prairie, Alberta for the first time. I was living in Saskatoon, and which is another province over. And I got in there, and I just got my foot in the door. I was there for like 8 months or so, and then it was like time to take that next leap, right? So I kept doing that, and you know, it's been 13 years now, man. It's been 13 years of oil patch life, and it's been a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of the countryside, got to experience a lot of cool things.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
it's
really
been
cool.
it's been a blast. It's been a ride, that's for sure. And look where it's gotten me now, right? Like the last 4 years making content about it. The last almost 2 years have a whole podcast where, you know, it started off very oil field based, but I was like, hey, you know what? Like, why don't we just talk to blue collar workers in general from all over the place? I'm talking to an almond farmer from California right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Just like the amount of
Yeah,
reach
man.
grow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Where do you see your content going? Like, where do you want it to go? What's the bigger picture?
Uh, I've had definitely some big ideas. I don't know how far out they may be, but I do enjoy watching a lot of like Demolition Ranch, their videos, and just there's certain inspirational people that I watch that, like, you know, there's certain, like, I'd like to be able to get to that size one day, but I would not mind being able to maybe make my own area or land or ranch where I can blow up stuff and shoot guns and, like, you know, just basically do whatever I want to do in any video and just video like and that not necessarily like it's going to happen because it is in California, obviously.
Yeah.
So I don't really know right now. I'm actually very happy with how things are going. But I don't know. I guess it's still up in the air as far as a long term vision right now. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know.
Can you hear Can you hear that beeping?
I'm hearing a little bit. Is that?
So let me turn. I'm in the back seat of the truck, right? Let's see this here. You know what? I had to have that. Whatever. We're good.
Oh, you're good.
We're good. Ah, the light's gold. Hey, look at that. Yeah, we're good. Look at the light. All right, we're fine. Yeah, no, that's that beeping was really annoying the hell out of me. I know that
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
I couldn't hear it that loud, but definitely if it's annoying you, you gotta stop. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, I think it was because these trucks now, if you run them for too long, they're like, hey, you know, you're idling, and they don't like that, right? It's the trucks are Democrats.
What do you
Idle
sit
no
in
more.
right now?
What's that?
What truck you in right now?
I'm in a Tundra, so it's brand new.
Right. That's
I think
right.
there's only like 1,900 kilometers on it.
Is it a work truck? Like a Tundra work truck?
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah,
What
yeah,
motor? Is it the gasser?
yeah. It's a gasser. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Look,
I've
we can
never
do this. Hold on a second. We'll do this. Boom. Hey.
Oh, there you are.
See if that. Let's see if that works. It's kind of creepy. I like it.
No, you look good.
Yeah. There we go. We'll leave it right here. Maybe. I don't know. There we go. Kind of. Ah. Let there be light.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So if people listening don't know who you are or where you're at or whatever, like where can we all find you on the socials, man? What social platforms are you on and what's your name there?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram as Philly P, TikTok as
Yep.
Philly P, and then I'm also on YouTube. It's the OG Philly P on YouTube because I couldn't get the Philly P, regular. But um, I'm
Yeah.
on basically those three platforms, mainly TikTok and Instagram right now, and that's like where you can find me and my videos. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at.
Hell yeah, man. I love that. Oh my god. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna put this on mute for a sec. I'm gonna have
All
to
right,
edit
no worries.
this. I'm gonna call from my boss. Hold on one sec.
No worries.
Hey buddy.
All right, you back?
Yeah, I'm back, man. I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that, dude.
No, you're good. No worries.
So oh my god. So oh Jesus. So yeah, man, I'm pretty pumped, the podcast we just passed over episode 100
Oh,
last
congrats.
week. Yeah,
Congrats.
man. So yeah. Yeah, man. I'm excited, we wanted to get Mike Rowe on for episode 100, right? And we tried. We really went hard at it for like, a good 8 months or so, but he requires like quite the hefty fee, right?
Oh, really?
So
Be on.
yeah, one second here.
Oh, you're good.
Hey, man.
Oh, good.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so he charges like 50 to 100 grand to go on a podcast
Wow.
virtually. Yeah. So we worked hard. We tagged him, we reached out, we did everything we could, and like, it just didn't work out. And I had to be okay with that for like the last like 6, 8 months, whatever it was. I went hard at him knowing that like, hey, if this doesn't happen, I have to be okay with it and I can't be
Yeah.
disappointed. Right. So I wasn't disappointed. I get it. And so we had Gord, my good buddy Gord, on from the Second Act podcast. And he's been on mine a couple of times and I've been on his a couple of times. And, he's been a real mentor for me, right? Like I was on his before I even had one. And, so yeah, he's been a real mentor and I enjoy his show and I enjoy his feedback and I enjoy just this banter. So, he listens to every episode and he gets back to me and he's like, "Hey man, great episode," or "Hey man, like, maybe do better next time," right? So it's
About
it's good. What's that?
that's about your podcast, like doing better.
Yeah, like the audio or something like that, or like, "Hey man,
Okay.
like you had an opportunity to ask these kinds of things, but you missed that," right? Or like,
Okay.
"Hey man, if you had this person on at the beginning, you probably wouldn't have a show right now," right? Because like, not you, but like someone else that I had on, was just really boring, but I navigated through it and I made it interesting, right?
Sure.
So
I feel like
yeah, it
I'm
was
bored
so like.
now.
No, oh no, you're not boring at all, man. This is great. So like he helped me through a lot of that, and so we got together and we just bantered for episode 100. It was, hey man, like what have you learned over the last 100 episodes, and you've had these people on. What was your favorite? We talked about that stuff, and it was good. It was how I didn't picture that going that way, but I'm glad it went that way, right?
Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
do you find
Man.
it easy to take that type of like criticism at times, or is it like kind of like a shot to the ego?
No, it's not a shot to the ego at all. It's like, you know, if you're making content online, right, you got to be able to take that criticism from the
Yeah.
comment section. And also,
Yeah.
we work in oil and gas, you know, we get shit on all the time. So, like, you know, but yeah, no, man, I didn't take it personally at all. When anytime I get a comment from anyone, it's like, okay, you're right. Like, how can I do better next time? Or I have that option to be like, hey, this is my show. Go fuck yourself, right?
Good point. Yeah, definitely. I mean, dude, the comment section can be
Yeah,
brutal sometimes. I've definitely had my fair share. That's for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely it can, man. It's been a fun ride. You know, episode 101. If I put it one episode out a week for 101 weeks, dude. Like that's
Dude,
insane to me.
that's impressive. That's commitment too.
It's been hard. It's been hard. It's been challenging. It's been fun. It's been exhausting. You know, considering that, you know, look at me, I'm in the back seat of a truck right now with the lights not on, right? Because I couldn't do it in my room in camp because the cell service is terrible and it would freeze. Because I'm not home because I'm working away to provide, right? And you know, there's been a lot of that. There's been a lot of like the cell service is terrible, the audio quality is not going to be the greatest, the picture is not going to be the greatest, but like the you can hear the conversation, it works, we're good, we're blue collar podcast, we're, you know, blue collar is very rugged, right? And
Yeah.
very, you know, it's not perfect. The podcast is blue collar, it's rugged and not perfect. We're not Joe Rogan, right?
That's true. I do enjoy a good Joe Rogan podcast as well, but you're right. So like
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
putting your podcast out like on the platforms and stuff, how do you know like whether it did good or bad, or like how does that work as far as the podcast side of things go?
So there's a website where I distribute my podcast. I upload it there and it distributes it everywhere else for me from one
Okay.
spot. And I could go on there. I usually wait the first 24 hours just to see how it does in the first 24 hours. And it shows you, you know, total downloads. It shows you like how many downloads or streams it got. And then I have the Spotify for Podcasters app, which I got recently, which has been a game changer. I got the Spotify for Podcasters app. You go on there and it shows you how many of your downloads and streams came from Spotify and how
Okay.
many. You can go on Apple and also do the same thing. And then there's other apps, but it also tell you how many are coming in off of which platform. And it's only like just under 7% of my listeners are on Spotify. Right. So the rest are on Apple, or I think it's 89% Apple or something like that. And then
Oh
other
wow.
things. It'll even tell you what they're listening from, how many people are listening from a laptop, a PC, a smartwatch, a phone. You know, it'll tell you that, right? And that's all pretty interesting. I like looking at that, and it shows you a heat map of where everyone's listening from all over the world, right? And it's pretty cool. We got listeners in Australia. We got some in the Middle East. We got some in like Europe, all over Europe. Something like one in Russia. I like to think it's
Oh
Putin, but
man.
like it's probably
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah,
Wow.
Vlad's just like sitting there, like you crush, shouted me out. You know, like
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man.
No, man, it's been a
So
lot of fun, and
how
the
many
analytics that go in.
how many like monthly listeners do you get?
So right now, like it's around 2,000 monthly listeners,
Okay,
right?
nice.
So and from all over. I haven't looked at that in a little bit, actually. It's probably been a good couple of months since I looked to see how much it's gone up, because I recently started a new segment on my podcast called The Morning Dookie, where, you know, I introduced it. It was outside of the once a week downloads or episodes that get uploaded. The Morning Dookie is me, you know, once or twice a week, you know, just going on for 20 minutes and shooting the shit about whatever, you know, my thoughts for that day. I'll try to have a guest on. And that has really upped the amount of downloads that I've had in a month, right? So because, you know, for people that don't feel like they get enough out of the 20 to 30 seconds of a TikTok or Instagram video, but they also don't want to sit there and listen to an hour and a half, 2 hour podcast. Well, here's 20 minutes for you, right? Can you sit through a 20-minute one, right? And the answer to that, I guess, has been an overwhelming, hey, I can fuck with 20 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
man, it's pretty good. Even my
awesome.
wife listens to it.
Oh, there you go. Wait, how long have you been with your wife?
Oh, we've been together for just about 20 years, since grade 11, and then we've been married for 12 years this year.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, actually,
You said that's in 4
5 days
days?
from now, I saw it. Yeah, 4 days.
Nice. Well, congrats, man. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah,
You gonna
man. And
send her the what are they, by the mail flowers or whatever they call them?
oh, probably, but I think I'll just take her out when I go home on days off 10 days later. So, yeah, 10 days after our anniversary, I'll be home. And yeah, we'll probably go out somewhere. I'll probably send her some stuff. One year, she's like, I got in trouble for this. She's like, well, look at my Amazon wish list and send me something off there for anniversary. I'm like, okay. I go on there and there's cleaning supplies and shit. And I'm just like, she said anything off the Amazon wish list. Here you go. Right. Yeah, she didn't like that too much.
Oh man, that's funny. Also a mistake, but that's funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. I do shit like that all the time, man. Like just intentionally a pain in the ass.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And you got kids
yeah,
too,
man.
is that right?
I don't want to. Yeah. We got 2 kids, 2 daughters. My oldest, sorry, just turned 7, uh, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now, and then my youngest will be 5 in March.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah,
Very cool. I don't
yeah,
have
man.
no kids.
It's a
Me.
good time.
I just have I have a girlfriend, no kids, but I do have a fish. His name is Trout. That's about it.
Yeah. What kind of fish is it?
It's a beta fish, but it's called a half moon king beta fish. He's really pretty,
Yeah,
really big. He tried to kill himself like a month ago, basically, but he's still alive, so that's good.
a suicidal beta fish.
Yeah, dude. I came home like one night after I was watching a movie or something. Came back from that, and I normally look. I walk into my house, and in my kitchen is my fish tank. That's where Trout is, and I always look in there to see what he's up to. Usually he's swimming. He's a fish.
Yeah.
But I got home and he wasn't in there, and the lights were all off. So I start walking towards the tank, and before I put my foot down, I could feel like something on the ground with my foot. And I look down and it's Trout. And he's like bone dry, chilling on the floor. So I like reach down and pick him up, and he like kind of like gives me like a half little like wiggle, like a little flinch, like he's still got something left. And so I like throw him in the tank.
Like a magic carp.
I know, and he's alive, and he lived. He had a little bit of like a couple days of like postpartum anti-water depression, but he's good now. So I'm all about that. But he's been happy, yeah.
So he like free willied himself out of the little tank.
Pretty much, and that is a great representation of him. Yeah, he definitely did that, but hasn't done it since.
That's crazy, man. Imagine now he evolves into like a Gyarados.
A Gyarados?
You don't watch Pokemon, do you?
I don't.
Oh man,
what is it?
What?
What is it? What is a Gyarados or whatever you said?
So Magikarp is just like a carp is a Pokemon, and he just flops around on the ground. He's the most useless Pokemon ever, like the worst. And
Okay.
like he evolves into fucking Gyarados, which is just like he goes from the worst to like the best, which is like this blue water dragon that just messes everything up.
Oh dang. Okay. I can see Trout being
you
water.
Yeah, I'm gonna text you the name of Gyarados, the spelling, and you're gonna see.
Okay. I look forward. I love
Yeah.
learning about new stuff, so that'll be news to me.
So I'm not gonna keep you too much longer there, buddy. It's getting late. We got to get on in time. Whenever you got to get to bed here. I like to wrap the podcast up by asking one last question there, and Mount Rushmore has 4 of the most influential people up on the rock, right? And depending on who you ask. And if you had your own Mount Rushmore, 4 people that you look up to, inspire to be there, or that have inspired you, who would they be and why?
Oh man, dude, that's a deep question. Real quick, let me think. Oh, man, I don't know. Is it cliche to say Jesus? Is that
you want, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely putting Jesus on there would be part of mine, just because of that relationship I have, in a sense. Definitely my dad. He's taught me so much about how to be a man and how to work, how to be a mechanic, how to deal with the relationships and life. And so definitely my dad as well. I put my best friend Tyler up there. He's the one he's the guinea pig of all my testing and stuff, and he's a good friend. Like he will never he'll never walk out on me. You know, I know he's gonna be there when I call. So definitely him. And then probably my little brother, Titus. He's a good kid, and close to my brother. So yeah, definitely those 4.
Did you say your little brother's name's Titus?
Titus, yeah.
That's a badass name,
dude. He's got the best one. I'm a little jealous, but it fits him a lot better than me. He's a cool kid.
Well,
he makes music.
Cool name, but yeah, he makes music.
He makes music. He's on Spotify, Lunar Beats. If you guys want to check him out, it's like lo-fi.
I'm checking
background music.
Yeah.
I'm
checking that out, man. What was I gonna say about that? He's got the badass name, but he doesn't blow squirrels out of the ground.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I could get him out there. We should get him in a video. Titus blowing up squirrels.
Hell yeah, do that, man. One more time before we go. How do you say what kind of farm you work on?
It's an almond farm.
It's an almond farm. Fuck, I love that.
That's how you say it. There's no other way. You can say almond if you want, but that's just not, it's not right. Almond.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for No. Camp security asking me if there's alcohol in the vehicle. They see me sitting in the back seat.
Talking to yourself a little bit too much. That's probably
what it's they're just doing their job, right? It's dry camp. Like I said, Fort Max, very by the book, right? Yeah. And they see a guy sitting out here talking on the computer, sitting in the back seat. Who sits in the back seat, right? And they're just doing their job. They're like, hey, any alcohol in the vehicle? No. They keep going. She didn't even look in, dude. She just asked. I could have lied.
Well, you're a good man. I know you don't.
Yeah, I don't really drink anyways, but yeah, man, that would have been. She's really on one over there. Hey, she's just driving around, searching everyone.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, good. Hey, they're doing their job. That's all that matters, right?
That's right.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, you have a fantastic evening. You go and you still got a whole ass evening to have with ice cream and whatnot. So you go do your thing, man, and give your girlfriend. Is she your girlfriend or your wife, fiance? What is she?
Girlfriend right now.
Girlfriend. Right now, for now. There you go. Maybe there's going to be a little ring in that ice cream. All right, man. You go and you give your girlfriend my best, and you guys have a great night.
Thanks, Dick. And talk to you later, man.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, stay frosty.
Yeah, I will. Thanks for having me on, dude.